are comprised of millions of proprietorship partnership firms who are mainly engaged in a small manufacturing units and the service vendors, etc. Who in fact those small scale entities or enterprises who are belong to service sectors, shopkeepers, or any of the fruits and vegetable vendors, any truck operators, food service units, repairs shops, machine operators, small industry artisans, food processors, and others are also involved in micro and small entities. So these are the various kind of or plenty of activities which are involved under micro and small entities where the partnership and the proprietor firms are always being engaged and running all these manufacturing units or service sectors units on a small scale. So any such units, manufacturing, service, or trading on a small scale, this yojana will always help to give or grant a credit or loan up to 10 lakh rupees. The loans under this scheme can be availed from through an eligible member lending institutions only, whether if any adult are a member or you can say having a bank account of these banks or of these companies, then ultimately they will get a loan. So the member lending institute, the eligible member lending institutions are public sector banks, private sector banks, state operative cooperative banks, rural banks from regional center, microfinance institutions, non-banking companies, small finance banks, and other financial intermediaries which has been approved by the schemes as a and termed as a member of financial institutions. When it comes to the interest rate is are actually declared by the member lending institutions time to time as per the rules and regulations of Reserve Bank of India and which will be applicable by all of the financial institutions and banks. When it comes to the upfront fees and processing charges, then of course it would be waived. Banks may consider charging upfront fees as per the internal guidelines only, and whatever the upfront or processing charges for Shishu loans, for example, it covering the loans up to rupees 50,000 are waived by most banks. That means no processing charge or upfront fees will be applicable and for the Shishu loan. So if it is applicable, it will be waived off by most of the banks under this scheme. There are no agents, no middlemen engaged of such schemes or who just promising to avail such mudra loans. The borrowers are always advised to keep away all those persons who are posing via the agent and facilitators of the Mudra Yojana where there is no agents and middlemen. You can go to the any bank who are actually the member of, you can say, member lending institution who are under the eligible list, and anyone can open such or use such scheme if they are engaged into a micro and the small scale manufacturing units, trading and any service units if it is available. Benefits, when we talk about benefits of such schemes, so it is categorized, such scheme are categorized into are classified into three categories: Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun, who signifies the growth and development of such scheme, and of course those who need the finance or relate or engage into a micro or units or become an entrepreneur. These schemes or categories will definitely be useful to them. The first one is Shishu. It's covering a loan up to 50,000. Kishore is covering a loan above 50,000 and up to 5 lakhs. That means 50,000 to 5 lakhs. Tarun, covering loans above 5 lakhs and up to 10 lakhs. That means 5 to 10 lakhs. But who are the eligible? The eligibility of the borrowers are individuals, proprietary firms, partnership firms, any private limited company, any public limited company, or any other legal companies or firms. There are three main nodes on based on that a loan will be granted. The applicant should not be defaulter to any bank or any financial institution. It should have a proper credit system record. Next note is the individual borrowers may be required to show the necessary skills, experience, and knowledge to undertake such activity. The need for educational qualification, if any, is assessed based on the nature of the proposed activities, whatever the activities belong should be manufacturing, trading, and service, and its requirements only. So totally, if there is a need of educational qualification, so definitely at the time of the borrowing any loan or credit facility, they have to show their educational qualification as well. Now we talk about the next scheme, that is the Swachh Bharat Mission. The scheme is introduced on 2nd October 2014 and it was launched by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. And this scheme is actually a multi-pronged program or scheme to sanitate a drive in the country, namely Swachh Bharat Mission or Clean India. So this program is launched is more than the half of the population, called a 55 crores people who have practiced to clean India. The situation was not only to face by the country like India alone, it is applied globally as well, who are actually lacking to have a basic sanitation services. So when it comes to the Indian alone, who are stand alone, that is nearly 2.3 billion people globally are also applying such scheme who are lacking of such services. Under this scheme, the beneficiaries were provided with an incentive of 12,000 rupees for the construction of individual household rentals. The financial burden will be shared 60 to 40 ratio between the central government and the state government. However, the various countries where such scheme would be applicable as which called a special category states like Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, northeastern states. These particular states always have a major participatory role, which has been increased from or to 90 ratio 10. The next scheme is Made in India. When we with a particular when we transform India into a global leader or a global, you can say, design and manufacturing hub, or to increase the manufacturing units. The scheme has been launched in September 2014, a much hyped initiative of Make in India. The ultimate aim or objective of this to create a conductive environment which always encourage to investment, not only for domestic but also for foreign as well, and build a network of modern and efficient infrastructure. This scheme is always focused on 25 sectors, namely that is automobiles, aviation, chemicals, construction, defense, manufacturing, electronic system, food, processing, leather, mining, pharma, railways, tourism, and renewable energy. So, on this scheme is focused on 25 sectors only, and accordingly, in these sectors, this is convert an environment and encourage investment on these sectors. And of course, not in India, not in within India, but of course for in foreign as well, and just try to build a comprehensive network of modern and efficient infrastructure to open up or to get you can say strengthen of these 25 sectors. Major initiatives under Make in India. Ministry of Finance reserved 26 items which only been procured from local suppliers. When NLC India announced to set up 500 megawatt solar power plant in Orissa with a cost of 3,000 crores. Foreign direct investment in the defense sector has also been increased to 74% under the automatic route. 100% fixed foreign direct investment under automatic route is for construction and specified rail infrastructure projects only. So these are the initiatives under this scheme, that what the Ministry of Defense has been done, what the NLC India company has been done, how the foreign direct investment, how much has been increased during apply a direct route. When we talk about the 100% FDI, how it is mainly for though which sector, it is construction and the rail infrastructure projects only. So these particular initiative has already been done through using of this scheme, that is Made in India. The next scheme is Stand Up India, a scheme which has been introduced by the Ministry of Finance to finance scheduled caste and scheduled tribe or women entrepreneurs by facilitating any bank loans or any credit facility to set up a green field project enterprise in manufacturing, services and trading sector, or any other services which are related to the agriculture. So the loans will be provided to these people, and the bank loan will be provided to them if they are these all scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, and scheduled tribe women entrepreneurs. If they are setting up a green field project enterprise in these particular sectors. The objective is scheme to provide a bank loan between 10 lakhs to 1 crore to at least one scheduled caste or scheduled tribe borrower and one woman borrower of any branch if they are setting up any greenfield enterprise, an eco-friendly enterprise of these sectors. In case of non-individual enterprises, 51% of the shareholding and controlling stake should be either by SC or ST or any of the women entrepreneur. So if anyone who are availing any bank loan using up this by using up this scheme, so they must have 51% of the sharing holding capacity and controlling also. Then it could be either any one of them, they will actually eligible to take up such scheme. Benefits of this scheme: the facilities, of course, the of composite loan, it's inclusive of term loan and working capital. That means 100 lakhs to 10 lakhs and 100 lakhs. And of course, a rupee debit card is to be issued for the convenience of the borrower. There is also a web portal by SIDBI, which provides SIDBI Bank, which provide hand-holding support through various network agencies who are engaged in training, skill development, mentoring, project reports preparation, any type of application feeding, any utility support services, subsidy schemes, and many more. The next scheme is Prime Minister Ujjwala Yojana. When it comes to this scheme is mainly to provide a clean and efficient liquefied petroleum gas, that is LPG, to rural India. Prime Minister Modi has launched this scheme in 2016. This scheme is aims to provide 5 crore LPG connections to women below the poverty line across India. And this scheme is also provide the financial support of rupees 1600 for each LPG connection, which includes cylinder, stove, pressure regulator, and the financial burden will be borne by the government only. So this scheme is related to the liquefied petroleum gas to rural India. The next scheme is Skill India. Skill India, or in other words, we can talk Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which has been developed under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneur, that is MSDA. This scheme was launched in 2015 with a target to provide industry relevant skill training and the financial and placement assistance to over 10 million youth between 2016 to 2020. This scheme, this Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has opened up or set up different agencies, you can say, or institutions to focus on different areas and activities. And three main agencies are actually playing such a role to achieve the target of this yojana, that is called the National Skill Development Authority, National Skill Development Corporation, and Directorate Journal of Training. So these three agencies are working, using up and or to improvise to make it successful of this scheme, using up these three agencies. NSDA is mainly tasked to implement the national skills qualification framework. That what would be the qualification of the trainers, what would be the qualifications of the trainees as well, and how to strengthen the state skill development missions. NSDC has always been interested and collaborated with the implementation of the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana and the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Kendra, while DGT, that is Directorate of Journal of Training, is always aimed to establish and monitor all the industrial training institutes, so that each and every youth will have a practical knowledge in terms in relate to any industrial activities. Now we talk about the new economic policy 2020. This policy has been introduced in 2020 by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And of course, under this policy, there are various schemes has been introduced under this provision, that is Amendable Bharat, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, National Food Security Mission, National Food Security Act 2013, Smart Cities Mission, National Bharat Net or National Optical Fiber Network. That these are the schemes, these are the policies which has been introduced, using a major, a broad conceptual framework, that is called New Economic Policy 2020. So let's go on through step by step what is all about these schemes. The first one is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. When we talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, in other words, we can call a self-reliant Indian campaign is a new vision for a new India. It has been launched by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and launched on 12th May 2020. It's always calling up the nation to just giving a kick start an Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan campaign and announced a comprehensive a special economic package of Indian rupees 20 lakh crores, which equivalent to 10% of India GDP to fight COVID-19 pandemic in India. The ultimate aim of this scheme and its citizens is, of course, to make our India a self-reliant. That means in the various sectors, it could be Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. It totally depends on five pillars. That is economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, and demand. And of course, the finance minister has always announced the government reforms, the seven sectors that enables skin across the seven sectors under this scheme. The government has also took a very you can see a bold reforms in terms of supply chain reforms for agriculture, rational tax system, simple and clear laws, capable human resources, and strong financial systems. So when we talk about this particular campaign, it's always focused on of an Indian economy, that how the government took take a several bold reforms in terms of all those sectors which actually need a comprehensive review, and that the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Yojana will always work out to improve that areas where the country is actually lacking. So these are the areas. The next one is micro, small, and medium enterprises. We talk about MSME. These particular enterprises are the entities which are mainly involved in production, manufacturing, processing of goods and commodities. Basically the concept of these enterprises is introduced in 2006, and it was introduced by the government of India through the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006. The services provided by the Ministry of this MSME only. What would be the services is for testing, training for entrepreneurship, development, we're preparing for the project, preparing the projects and product profiles. For it's for the purpose of technical and manageable consultancies, assistance for any export facility, pollution and energy audit. And after all, it is an industry. It is whether to be micro, small or medium enterprises, and we always talk about the industry under this where all these services is required, and this scheme will always provide these services to any industries. So these are the schemes. There is a earlier MSME classification, and now it has been the particular limits has been classified. So when we talk about the earlier MSME classification, how much the investment is required in manufacturing enterprises and the services enterprises when it comes to the micro scale, small scale, and medium scale. So when we talk about micro scale, that in case of manufacturing enterprises, investment it would be, you can say, less than 25 lakhs. When it comes to the small scale investment would be less than 5 crores and medium would be less than 10 crores. But when we talk about the services enterprises, micro it would be investment less than 10 lakhs, small scale would be less than 2 lakhs and the medium scale would be less than 5 crore. But when we talk about the revised MSME classification, how much the investment and turnover is required, that has been shown on the slide. That is manufacturing and services for both at micro, small, and medium level. When we talk about the micro, the investment would be less than 1 crore, and turnover should be less than 5 crore. When it comes to the small scale, the investment would be less than 10 crores and turnover would be less than 50 crores. But when we talk about on a medium scale, the investment should be less than 20 crores and the turnover should be less than 100 crores. So this is the revised classification for the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and what type of the companies or enterprises would involve on these particular scales: micro, small, and medium, along with their investment and turnover. Other initiatives, a festival advance scheme is also being granted to the government employees under SBI Utsav cards. New league travel concession voucher scheme is launched. New scheme Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, so that everyone would get a job secured during the COVID recovery phase. 1.46 lakh crore boost has been given to 10 champion sectors like advanced electronic technology product, pharmaceutical drugs, cell chemistry, battery, telecom, networking products, etc. 18 crores, 18,000 crores is an additional outlay or investment for Prime Minister Awas Yojana Urban. Rupees 900 crores provided for COVID Suraksha mission for research and development of Indian COVID vaccine. So these are the other initiatives under the new economic policy in 2020. Now we talk about the National Food Security Mission. This mission was launched in 2007, which is mainly focused to increase the annual production of rice, wheat, and pulses by 10 million tons, 8 million tons, and 2 million tons respectively by the end of 2011 to 12. Ultimately, the increase in production will always be restore oil fertility, improving farm level economy, and how to expand the area under cultivation, and of course is booster or foster a new employment. You can see the areas. From 2014 to 15, 17 quails and the commercial crops like sugarcane, cotton, jute were also included under this scheme. This scheme is always aims to provide the food security at the national level to every citizen of India. Next one is National Food Security Act 2013. This act was passed on July 5, 2013, but ultimately uh, to secure an aspect of food security just for the welfare of the people, and that's their own right for food. Up to 75% of the rural population, as well as 50% of the urban population, are legally to receive subsidized food grains through the targeted public distribution system according to this act. This act is also covered. two-thirds of the population to provide subsidized food grains, and this act is implemented through all of the Indian states and union territories as well. The beneficiaries under this act is classified into two categories. The first one is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, where the households and each of the households will get 35 kg of food grains every month. That each month, that means 5 kg per person per month. Wheat cost 2 rupees 2 per kg, rice cost 3 per kg, and coarse grain cost 1 per kg is to be provided to all those households under this scheme or Yojana. There has been no revisions in the prices of the food grains in the Union Budget 2022, and whatever the price development scheme issue prices of rice will continue to be sold at rupees 321 per kg respectively. So, under this scheme, it always been introduced that all the households of India will always get a minimum limit of the food grains each month, that would be rice or wheat or any coarse grains, and accordingly there would be no revisions under any of the budget, so that every household or every citizen of India would enjoy or take a benefit of such scheme that is called the National Food Security Scheme or Act, which is covered under two categories, that is minority household who are very needy, and the Anyodhya Anna Yojana, where the household can take an advantage of these three, you can say, products, that is wheat, rice, and coarse grains. So of course there is no specific limits which has been given by the central government, so that accordingly the household would get such benefits in terms of allotted prices, and the prices which has not been increased under any of the schemes. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening this lecture, and namaste to all.